Hi everyone, this is my client Hannah. She's been with me now for sort of 3-4 months. I'm just going to let her basically introduce herself and we'll have a chat. So off you go.
Okay, hi, I'm Hannah. I've been working with Aaron for a few months now, and I've worked with other trainers in the past. He always gave me loads of support. I went on his free programs and saw real results. And he actually someone that actually going to give you genuine advice rather than just trying to sell you something or sell you an idea and something more sustainable and long term. So yeah, I've seen really good results so far.
So what were like the problems you were experiencing or that you'd had like before you started working with me?
So I've always been a yo-yo dieter massively. So I really really commit to it for about probably 2 months. See really fast results. Then think, oh, that's great, that's it, I'm done. And then kind of trip up a few times and then be like, oh, that's it, it's no point now. Or even like if I get injured, I kind of struggle then to get back into things. So then I'm putting all the weight I lost on more normally. Which makes it then harder to lose all again.
So basically like yo-yo dieting and never committing to anything like long term.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, what had you previously like tried before to try and reach your goals?
Results I had previously with a strict coach. So I did have macros and things like that, and that's where I kind of got to learn a bit new about nutrition. But it was like, you'll have rice, you will have chicken, you will have spinach, and that's your meals. And so then I found, once I finished with that trainer, I then ate everything under the So yeah, that's kind of what I've done before. I'd learned a bit about nutrition, about how that works. But in my head, it was like, well, the only way I'm going to get my macros is to be strict diets. So that's kind of what I tried before. And then I tried also not worrying about diet at all. I am a chocoholic. So that doesn't work either.
So you'd had more than one PT in the past, hadn't you?
Yeah, I've just tried a few, and they're all face-to-face people rather than online. So then I've had like one that didn't look at diet at all, one that was too strict with diet, and then one was kind of got a set meal plan that was terrible. So I didn't want to stick to it. And the worst part was I wasn't even losing weight. I was on this really rough diet. I didn't see any changes in weight or measurements really. So yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. This is why I hate meal plans. You started working with me then. What sort of results have you had?
Early on, it's kind of the weight dropped very quickly. So I've lost about 4 kilos. And then it's kind of been a lot more on the measurement side. And weight. So towards recently, I haven't seen as much progress. But then when I compare from now to week 1, I really recognise myself, and the fact that I've kept this weight off continuously is such a big deal for me, because normally at this point I will have got wrong. But if I'm maintaining that weight and still dropping measurements, for me is, I think it's phenomenal. And I'm really seeing the difference in the toes. And another big thing for me is becoming a healthy approach to food in terms of food. But it's learning to introduce like a little treat every day, so then I don't just binge eat on a whole bar of chocolate. Well, that's okay. I can have a little bit now, and I can have a little every day. I'm really like learning to be okay with.
Cool. That's good stuff. I mean, because people get so hung up on the scale weight and don't pay attention to things like physical measurements in the pictures. You might not drop a huge amount on the scale, but when you look back on your photos, there's definitely a huge difference.
There is. Yeah, and that's and I'm definitely reaching my goal, which was to be able to wear a crop top over the summer. I bought the crop top now. I'm all ready for next month. It's exciting.
Great. So in terms of what we've done so far, what's kind of been like the best thing for you, like the best change we've made?
It's the approach to food. The thing that I found was really good. We started maybe on sort of normal level and gradually brought it down. Whereas with other trainers, they're like, well, you need to be on this now. And then you find from going like relatively more calories to like a deficit, you find that sometimes that can be quite a shock, and then it seems like things you're so hungry. But if you do it gradually over the few months we have, then I find that's been better. And I found because I need much motivation to go to the gym. I enjoy going to the gym. So that's not the bit that is the issue. It's then not beating myself up about it if I haven't done it. Because you don't make me feel bad like other trainers have. So if, you know, you understand that we all have a life, you know, the gym all our, and I think that's the best approach, and I think that's really good.
Good. That's what I like to hear. If there were like 3 kind of top benefits that you've enjoyed from, like, as a result of working with me, what would they be?
Sustainability. Here's the fact that I've managed to keep this weight off, and with this is number 2. I don't feel I'm dying. Like, if I can go out and have a drink, I can go out for a meal, and I just adjust, or even if I'm just slightly over, it's not the end of the world. And it's like changing my approach to that. It's understanding that, you know, you can feed this into your real life. Like, you can have a real life and still train and results, which I think is an important thing. Number 3, the workout. Because you listen to me back, adapt on that. You don't make me do things I don't enjoy, whereas other trainers have been like, well, you have to do this, it's good for you. Well, I don't like that. And then you find that you're less likely to go because you don't like that exercise. The fact that you listen and you adapt based on the individual person to show them, because a lot of trainers just give you this generic workout with this generic meal plan, and they don't really care. But that's the third thing.
Cool. Awesome. That's some great points. So finally then, if there was anyone out there who was like considering working with me, would you recommend it? And if so, why?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I recommend you to all my friends. Because I think that I think you're suitable for anyone really, because you've actually listened and adapt, and I think that's the important thing. And you know, a realistic approach, like not like airbrushing it like some people are, like, especially as you say, I'll drop 10 pounds of body fat with this one exercise. Like, it's just unrealistic, and people get their hopes up, and then they feel bad when they don't make it. You're self-fit, got people, and it helps build people's confidence about that. And I think that's so important, to just cut all the rubbish. You can do this going back and you do supplements. So I've had trainers in the past push supplements on me, but actually they're not really doing a lot.
Great. Well, that was awesome. So thanks for coming on today. Hopefully everyone who has a watch of this takes something away from it.